Marcy Bullock with the Values and Life Motto Activity webinar. Today we're going to talk more about this golden thread that is following your life that will help you make a career decision. So we're going to begin with our goal. And I like the picture here which shows what matters most is how we see ourselves. We're going to work a little bit today on reflecting and discovering some new things about ourselves and clarifying our values. So let's dive right into what is a value. We've heard that word thrown around. The most important things in your life right now. That's the way I like to define a value. They could be principles, standards, any kinds of qualities that you consider worthwhile or desirable. And when you're making a career choice, it's really important to be doing something that you think is worthwhile because you're spending 1/3 of your waking hours doing it. Values typically can guide our actions and decisions on a daily basis. We're going to look at a pyramid model that helps us to understand that. And it can be an integral part of our purpose, our reason for being, since both your values and purpose are at the core of how you live every day of your life. So let's define this to begin. A value is anything to which a person gives worth, merit, or usefulness. Whenever you say that something is important to you or has significance to you, you are stating a value. Work values define the reward, satisfaction, and desirable qualities you seek in the occupational prospects you are considering. So we have values in our personal life and in our professional life, and a lot of time they overlap. But in our work life, there are some things that we can be thinking about relating to making a career decision. So our highest priorities, the attributes and qualities that we most want, those are the things that matter most to us. And I like to use a house analogy for understanding our values. So if you think about the building of a house, the house has a foundation. And I like to think of those values that are most important to you as your foundational values. That means that the house could not exist without those values. They are your deal breakers. You will not compromise on them. Then the house gets more complicated. We add drywall and roofing, and those are great to have on a house, right? We don't want to get wet. It's nice to be shielded from the elements, but it's not essential for survival. So I call those your core values, still very important to you. Next are the really cool things that make the house fun, like the furniture and the decorations and the pictures on the wall. Those could be more on the minor side. They add things, they make life better, but you could live without them if you had to. And then next we've got imaginary values. These are things that we sometimes attribute importance to, such as checking our social media feed. But then when we ask ourselves, what is that doing for my life? How is it enhancing my being? Sometimes we find the answer is it's actually undermining one of my foundational values, which is well-being, because when I finish scrolling my feed, I feel bad about myself. The key is to move imaginary values out or into another category. So I like to think about the whole pyramid now here and align our values with what we actually do. That's when the flow happens, is when we have this action and value alignment. And it starts at the top with everything you do, every task that you perform. And then it moves into intermediate goals that you might have, which would be maybe getting a certain GPA this semester or graduating with a certain major. And then your longer term goals could tie into something like moving into grad school or a specific professional aspiration. All of those have values at the foundation, and the activity we're about to do is going to help you to come out with what I call a life motto value action plan. So now we're into our activity. On each of these 4 slides, I would like you to pause the video, carefully read every word on here, and pick your top 3 words. Go. Now you have 3 words, you're going to add 3 more. Pause. Now you have 6 words, you're going to add 3 more. Pause. And now you have 9 words and you're going to put your last 3. Pause. Now you have 12 words on your paper. Ask yourself these questions. Am I proud of this value? Would I defend this value openly to others? Have I chosen it after considering all the other words on that page? Have I considered the consequences of expressing this value? Have I chosen it freely without anyone imposing it on me? Have I acted upon the value? And am I consistent regarding the value? That's a quick quiz on all 12 of your words. So take a moment to pause now and think about your answers on all 7 of those questions for all 12 words. So this is a really interactive webinar where you're stopping and thinking, not just listening. Now we're moving into how are occupations associated with the values that are most important to us. So I made you pick 3 words on each page and you came out with 12 total. Honestly, you could rewind back and you could look at any of these pages and go, well, really, my top 5 are on this page and I only want to pick 2 from this page. I didn't like any on this page. 12 is not a magic number, but it is a key way to start to get those foundational values. So if you had your top 6, that would be your foundation. Remember the non-negotiables, the house analogy? And then your next 6 would be your core. And then you might be able to build from there. And you know that each of these occupations you see ties into a certain value. They all build on what's important based on the activities of the job. And part of that, you might still be investigating. You might still be learning what you actually do in a typical day. So make sure to watch the video on informational interviews because you'll learn more about that particular task of learning what someone in their job does. So now we're moving into what you want to do with your life, how you want to live your life motto. We're going to do a really fun exercise now to wrap up this video, which is a statement or just 7 to 12 words, a small series of statements, a quote, any combination that works for you, but take those 12 words out now and try to put them together into some kind of meaningful phrase. So for me, when I did this activity, I came out with appreciate loving relationships and inspire others' potential. That took me a long time to come up with. I looked at my 12 words, I pondered, and I thought about in my life, this is my guiding force. Do I do it perfectly every day? No. Am I a work in progress? Absolutely. Do not put a fork on me, in me actually, if I was cooking, because I'm not done yet. I want you to think in terms of all these different phrases here. You can look and see how some students have taken those 12 words and modified them into a life motto. I like to put the life motto up on the refrigerator or the bathroom mirror to remind me that this is why I'm here, to help guide me so that I don't undermine what's most important to me. Sometimes I do something really stupid to someone I love, and I realize that I just made a big mistake, and today's a new day, and I'm going to do better. But this life motto, some people, they boil it down to one word, which is amazing. And that one word guides them. I like to use journaling too to help with this activity. So once you finish this video, just go ahead and look at those 12 words and see what kind of life motto activity you can come up with. And we're going to look at some opportunities to share those as a group when we are together in person again.